So you ate a bunch of pasta filled with the polysaccharide, meaning a polymer of a carbohydrate, starch. So you can put that on the first line. So starch is going to look like this. It's like a long chain of repeating subunits. And your body, which is made of large percentages of water, needs to break it down or digest it into smaller pieces so it can be absorbed. What organ absorbs all of your nutrients, all of your monomers? Where's the last place it's broken down? Which organ? Yeah, small intestine. So the small intestine is where all of your macromolecules have been fully broken down, if you look on the board, Angel. And they're now small enough that they can be absorbed into our body's cells. So that's the goal. It needs to break it down so it can be absorbed into your small intestine. So you're going to start with 3 molecules. And you have them in the little pencil piece on your, do you have an extra one? I think maybe one fell, yeah, see. Yeah, I did. And so you have 3 little pieces there. You're starting with one that looks like this. It's a long chain of repeating subunits from the pasta you just ate. So what is this?
Polymer starch.
Yeah, the polymer starch. So in other words, you are starting with a starch. And the reason I put them in your pencil pieces is because they roll. So if you want to just leave them there, that'd be perfect for now. And then you're also starting with 2 molecules of these. If you look at the board, the red is oxygen and the blue is hydrogen. So these are water. So you are starting with a starch molecule, a polymer, and 2 molecules of water. All right, so down here in number 5, it says, when you eat, the food is broken down using water. Our body uses water to break down our food. Enzymes, like you heard about in that video, are proteins in the body which also help by just speeding up the process. Water is going to be added to the polymers you eat, no matter what type of polymer it is, to break them into smaller pieces for digestion. So what we're going to do is model this. We're going to add water to this polymer to break it into smaller pieces, or to break it into, monomers. Yeah, good. So we're going to do that by completing steps A and B. So we're going to do one step at a time. If you look, what I have is drawn your models right here. So now what I want you to do is take this piece from your pencil holder thing and put it right on top of the first picture. Where you see a vertical line, you're going to break it. So everywhere you see a vertical line, you're going to make a break. And once you make a break, you can put it back in your pencil holder up top. Otherwise, they'll roll. So just put it right back in your pencil holder up top when you're done. And same thing with this guy, these water molecules. You're going to pull those down one at a time and break them right where it shows you. And put those back up in your pencil holder. Yeah, and then leave it there. So I'll come around if you need help. But you want to make sure you have these same pieces as it shows on your paper.
Lego. Football games? Do you and the other team go teams and walk me? If we're allowed to. I think it is allowed to have. Wait till other teams allow me. Wait till other teams allow me. And if it's their home, they're allowed to. But they're allowed in ours too. Your teams go there? No, they go there. So I was like,
all right, anyone need help, or are we all good? All good on that step? All right, so what we just did is we just broke our starch, which is a what?
A carbohydrate. No, a protein.
A polymer. Good. A polymer. It's a carbohydrate. A polymer. And then we also broke these molecules, which are what?
Water.
Water molecules. So now what we're going to do is step B. You're going to take these pieces, and where you see a plus sign, you're going to add them together. So now we're going to add water to our once polymer to break it apart. So, like what I like to do is just pull them down, line them up, and attach them right there so I don't mess up. There we go. And so what you should end up with is 3 identical molecules that look like what I have up here. So again, these are 3 building blocks. They're identical to each other. So what do we call building blocks?
Monomers.
Monomers. So we just broke a polymer, starch, into its monomers. What is the monomer or the building block of carbohydrates that plants can make? Sugar, yeah. So we just took a polymer, a polysaccharide, and broke it into monosaccharides or sugars. So we broke it down into its building blocks. So these are all little sugars that we now have in our body. So what I want you to do is now go back to this page. We're going to look at number 6. It says, after completing steps A and B, what have you produced? We just produced 3 what? 3 monomers. And in this case, since we're working with carbohydrates, 3 sugars. Good. 3 sugars we'll write, and then in parentheses we'll just write monomers. So that was digestion. Your body takes what you eat, uses the water in your body, and breaks apart those macromolecules so that they're now small enough to be absorbed by what organ? The small intestine. So we just added what to our polymer? Water. So on number 7, you're going to write, you just added water to what our polymer? Did we build it or break it? We broke it. Yeah, so we just added water to break a polymer. I'll come to you in a second, Haley. Just stay with me for here for now. So the term for this, the vocab word, which you could maybe circle, is hydrolysis. Hydro means what? Water. Yeah, to add water. So hydro means add water. You're hydrating, you're drinking water. And lys must mean to break. Yeah, so we add water to break our polymer down. And that's how it works in our body. We eat food, the water in our body helps break all that food down into little tiny pieces. Okay, so if you're talking, I'm going to call on you next, so be ready. Haley, did you have a question before we move on?
It wasn't a question, but it's off topic.
Okay, then check in with me after. So now you have a bunch of monomers. These monomers have 3 atoms. What is the blue representing again? Hydrogen. The red is
Oxygen.
And what's the other atom? Carbon. Yeah, carbon. So you now have 3 molecules, or 3 monomers with the atoms C, H, and O. So you want to fill that in at number 8. Now these 3 atoms can be used for so many things. They're little building blocks. If we decide that our body needs some proteins, we can add nitrogen to make what building block? What's the building block of proteins? Good guess, not that. Amino acids, yeah. So we can make other building blocks like amino acids. If we need some more nucleic acids, what's the building block of nucleic acids? It sounds like nucleic acids. Nucleotides. So if we add nitrogen and phosphorus, we can get nucleotides. And if we add more hydrogen and carbon, we need more lipids. What building block could we make? Anyone remember the building blocks of lipids?
No.
Starts with a G. Glycerol, yeah. So again, you don't have to know those names, but I just want you to see we can make the other building blocks. That's the main idea here. We can make the other building blocks if we add some stuff to it. However, glycerol, yeah. However, it all depends on what macromolecules our body needs more of. So if you need more proteins, we'll make more amino acids. If you need more lipids, you'll make more glycerol. But in this scenario that we're working with right now, your body happens to need carbohydrates to fill its energy storage bank because it's running low. This is because you went for a long run this morning and you used a lot of your short-term energy. So we got to refill that energy bank. So because starch is a carbohydrate that you just ate from that pasta, initially some of these sugars you now have are going to be used for quick energy. That's what we use our carbohydrates for. Quick energy. However, if we have excess, we're going to store it away as a polysaccharide. Now here's a multiple choice question. Plants store sugars away as starch. We store sugars away as the polymer starch, cellulose, or glycogen. Glycogen, yeah. So we store away sugars in the form glycogen. Does anyone remember what organ we store this glycogen in from the card sort?
Oh, the
Liver.
The liver. Good memory. Okay, so we use some of this as energy, and we store the rest away as glycogen, which glycogen looks like this. It's a long chain of repeating subunits in the liver. So to store these monosaccharides away as polysaccharides, or to store any monomer away as a polymer, we're also going to have to involve water in this process, but it's a little bit different. So we're going to complete steps C and D. Now that we have these in our cells, we got to build them up into glycogen. So here we go. First step C, you want to line up one of your guys and break it right where it says, put them back in your pencil tray. So now we're at part C, and you're breaking again. You're breaking again. You're going to have lots of little pieces. Alright, so if you're done with that step, we'll move on to D, our final step. So now we're going to go to D, and we're going to add some pieces together. Again, it helps to line them up because there's a lot of little pieces. So move on to step D, your final step.
Okay, I got you.
And what you should end up is with these three things if you did it right. Just a little different. We're now on letter D, and we're forming our last pieces, so adding those pieces together. Anyone need more time with this step? Yeah? A little more? Okay, so now we're going to move back to our other paper. It says, after completing steps C and D, listen carefully, what do you now have? So what are these two molecules of? Water. So we have 2 molecules of water. And we have this. Now be careful. This is a polymer, but in our bodies, what's the polymer sugar makes?
Carbohydrate. No, sorry.
Glycogen. So we have 2 molecules of water and glycogen. So this does look exactly like the starch looked like to start, but in our bodies, it would be a little bit different. It's going to be the same repeating units, just in like different branching structures, but this is as close as I could get. So what we just did is you just took water out of monomers. So you just removed water in number 11 from monomers. And because you removed water, you were able to do what to a polymer? Break it or build it.